Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome into the Techno Tinker. Today we're going to take a look at Starfield on the Asus Ally and go over the performance on it, how well it plays. This is the Asus Z1 Extreme. There is both the Z1 and Z1 Extreme. This is that. I've had it for about 3 months now. And so today we're going to take a closer look into how Starfield runs in it with temperatures and frame rates and docked versus handheld mode. So far with this game, it has proven to be a tough game to play even on high-end desktops. With Starfield, I'm running this on 720 and I have RSR disabled, but I have FSR in the settings enabled, and it's on the handheld plugged in. I only run it plugged in. I hardly ever run this thing just on the battery. But with it plugged in and running at full power at about 53 watts, it's not bad for what Starfield is. It's more playable than I thought it would be. I have it all on low settings. We can take a look at that real quick. So I'm running it on 720. Yeah, 70% resolution scale for FSR2, and everything was on low with motion blur off. Sharpening's at 30%, and film grain I always turn on 0 because I don't like the way motion blur and film grain look. But that's my personal taste on that one. And then I do have RSR disabled at 720 at 60 hertz. And so we're gonna run through a little bit and see what the playability looks like. And I average typically in the mid 30s to mid 40s depending on the scene. If you're in some space places like the ship or inside a building, it can jump up to 50-55, but that's not for very long. And it also depends too on what the boost is for the APU, because the algorithm only boosts for so long for a certain amount of wattages, so it won't stay at a continuous 53. It can only maintain that boost for a certain amount of seconds. Temperatures, it runs hot like the Ally always does. This is in turbo mode plugged in, and typically about 35 to 45 is what I average. For it being on a handheld, I don't notice any stuttering for the most part. There is, occasional hiccups here and there, but it runs pretty smooth for the most part. In docked mode, playing on a TV, that's where I start to notice a lot of the issues and ugliness kind of come out on it for my personal taste with it. Because I'm playing on when it is docked, it's on a 75-inch TV, 4K, 120 hertz LG, and that's where the 720p with the FSR really start to show its ugly face. It's not unbearable. I still play it in docked mode versus playing it in handheld just for the convenience of having a bigger screen, and so my wife can watch. But it does start to look really rough around the edges in Starfield in docked mode because of it being in 720 graphics all the way set to 0 more or less. But back to it being in the handheld form, it actually does play really well. I do like it in the handheld. It is really smooth. For being a game that's really easy to play on keyboard, it is actually really well laid out, minus a couple button mapping choices for me. But it does play really, really well handheld, and I am impressed with it. I do like it. I haven't tried with just the battery without it being plugged in, just because for me, I never play this without it being plugged in. When I'm in the car, it's plugged in. My cars have a converter built in, so for me, I'm hardly ever on battery, so I didn't really mess with it on battery just because that's not something that For me, I typically don't ever do, but I couldn't see it being too much worse, because once the boost algorithm starts to cap out, it will drop down to near 30 watts after a while. I still have a hiccup with my Ally and the boost algorithm. I am running on BIOS version 323. I haven't noticed much of a difference from 317 to 323, but overall I am really impressed with it. It played a lot better and it has fared a lot better than I thought it would. But I'm really curious on what your guys' opinions are. If you've played Starfield, what do you think of Starfield? Do you play it on console? You play it on a computer? What's your system specs? You know, how do you think it plays? Or if you are playing on the Ally, what are your thoughts on it? You know, how are you liking it on battery or plugged in, docked, handheld? Let me know down in the comments. But that is all I have for this. If you guys would like to see more, like, subscribe, hit the notification, and have a good day, and thank you for watching.